Hey, and welcome to my channel. Now this video we're going to do a couple things. It's Tag Tuesday tag. We'll do it first because I got some Happy Mail and I got some things to tell y'all. It has been an eventful few days in my life and I just need to tell y'all. So if you just want to watch the tag and go on about your business, I thought I would just go and do that first. So these are our Trials of a Long Hair Girl tags. You know Tracey over there, go see her. And I was tagged by Tracey herself. So let's get started. These are either or fall food edition questions. The first one, pinto beans or lima beans. I like them both because we bean people. We are bean people. Funny thing is though, we're having pintos today. It's hobo supper day. So while I do like them both, I would pick pinto beans. Number two, black beans or kidney beans. Now I said we're bean people, but we're not black bean people. I think that one and some kind of bean that we got, it was a pigeon pea. Just looked like some little field pea. I got it over at the international market because I've never seen them in the regular store. And I thought, well, here's a new bean. It kind of tasted like feet. I won't be getting that again. So, kidney beans. Frozen veggies or canned? Well, I was raised on canned vegetables. So, I don't mind a canned vegetable. I'll eat them all day long. Matter of fact, my mom's soup, that's the one she made in her later years. Because, you know, hold on, school bus. Haven't been out here in a while to see one of those. That was her later years soup where she depended on canned vegetables too. So now, I mean, I like frozen, but let's say I want some corn. Frozen just takes too long. I can just throw it in there and heat it up in the pot real good. So I'm gonna pick canned vegetables, and I am not ashamed. Hot or iced tea? Iced tea. I'm learning to drink hot tea thanks to Joan over at Joan's Point and Plate. She told me last year during the winter, she said, I'll make a tea drinker out of you yet. So she sent me some loose tea from her favorite little store. And I told her this year, when was she going back? She needed to pick me out some more. So yeah, in the wintertime, I like a hot tea, but all year long, iced tea. Stew or chili? That would be chili. I like both, but I love chili beans. And we will eat them year round. It is not no cold weather dish for us. My mama, she used to make a giant pot of chili beans. Good, delicious chili beans. And then we would get them and put them in the freezer. And we'd eat chili bean salads a lot. So, chili beans. French fries. White potato or sweet potato? White potato. I'll eat a sweet potato fry, but it's too wimpy. It's too limp. Of course, I don't mind a wimpy regular French fry. The Whataburger up here, which is not the Texas Whataburger, it's a whole different animal. They make crinkle French fries, which David calls crunkles. They make crunkles, and they're not crispy, but they're not soggy. They're just like somewhere in between. They're so good. Beans or soup? Beans. We like soup. Yes, we like all kinds of soup, but if I had to pick one or the other, let's say somebody walked up here and said, you know, down the road you can only have beans or soup, I'd pick beans. Eggs or oatmeal? Both. I can't pick one over the other if you're going to eat it, like for your breakfast. Eggs, obviously, because it does more, but if you're just going to eat it, honestly, dude, get your car fixed. There's something wrong with it if it's backfiring like that. Where were we? Both. And if I eat oatmeal, I have to have some eggs with it or it just don't last. Okay, with your beans, cornbread or rice? Cornbread. That's the night. I'm not making my homemade. Depends on how I feel. I'll either make my Jiffy or I'll make JPP. We'll see how I feel, but Lord have mercy, in the pre-WW days, I'd make me a cake of cornbread. I'd get it while it was hot and smother it with butter, close it, cut it in half, put a big old pile of butter in the middle, let it melt and soak into both sides, then open it up and then put my pinto beans and my juice on it, and then my onions on top of that and some chow chow. All day long, brothers and sisters. With your chili, crackers or something else. Well, I like cornbread with my chili too. I think cornbread and chili goes together. Very rarely do we eat crackers with chili. I eat it with soup. And David don't eat nothing with nothing. If he eats a cracker with soup, he's doing something special. So if I have to choose, it's going to be cornbread. So that is all for the tag questions. Now, thank you for tagging me, Tracey. And I will tag Miss Danielle over at Danielle Nichole and Miss Anna at Anna's Journey to a Healthier Life. So here's the questions in my box below, and y'all go visit them at their channels and go watch their tags. And now let's do Happy Mail. I got to bend down a minute, so I'm gonna cut out and come right back. Okay, so I got some Happy Mail yesterday, and it's so cute. Okay, let me show you. It's from Liz Bridges. Check out this card. Because y'all know I like the owls. Now, inside the card, it says, when nighttime falls and spooky sights are seen, I'll be wishing you a happy Halloween. Taped to the bottom inside there was a Dollar Tree gift card. I see some shopping in my future. Now, hold on, let me put that down there. And then also, this was in the package. Is he not the cutest little thing you ever seen? He's like a bean bag. Well, he's beanie down here so he'll sit up. Is he not the cutest little thing? So, yeah. I gotta think of a name. That hat, he looks like a mountaineer, so I'll have to come up with some kind of mountaineer name. Alright, let me put it back down. Now, hold on a minute. Okay, I thought my neighbor, he started walking. I don't want him walking down the street listening to me talk. He coming back. Okay, so he was walking down and looking at, listen, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I had to make a list of things to tell y'all, because every time I would say, well, I gotta tell him that, I said, if you don't write it down, you will forget. So what he was looking at is, yesterday they bulldozed Uncle Eddie's house. There's a pile of rubble sitting over there. I was in there at the computer editing maybe my meal prep, and I knew they had been over there clearing the trees and stuff behind it. Now see, that's old family land. It goes way on down, and over the years it has just, things have happened and it's passed over and different people own it other than family. Well, the house was owned when I was a little girl, because it was my great aunt. It was my mama's sister. Now, I'll tell you this, God rest her precious soul. She had diabetes, and they had to amputate her leg. So one day we was sitting down there eating, and it was at a bar where it's like a high bar, and you had to sit up on the stool. All of a sudden, there's a kerplunk, and we're all looking around. She's just as calm as can be. She goes, that was my leg. She had a wooden leg, and she was just so, she never let on that anything was wrong with her. Bless her heart. She was something else. She was something else. She made the best oyster dressing on the planet. I could not wait for, and it would be cold weather when she'd make it, because you have to eat oysters in the months with ours. Oh my gosh. But I've been in that house ever since I was just a little girl. I mean, a little girl, because like I said, one great aunt lived there, and then right down the street was my other great aunt, the one that helped raise me. Well, so the house was old when I was little. I'm 58. I knew that it had been let down because I've been in there in recent years when the person bought it. And it's a whole big story we won't go into that. So I knew how it had been run down and dilapidated. When I say dilapidated, you have no idea. I don't even believe they needed a bulldozer. They probably could have just went and gone over. Anyway, so I was sitting there and I heard a big ruckus, and it sounded louder than what it had been when they was doing down the trees. So I looked out the window. Lord, that bulldozer was pushing that house over. So I come up here. I have a cousin in Colorado. He's younger than me, a lot younger than me. A little bit older than my kids, but a lot younger. I could be his mom. He lived down there. He grew up down there. He's been in Colorado for 8 years and has not been back home. So I took a video of it and sent it to him, and he just was, well, while I was out here videotaping, that man on that bulldozer was getting happy. There's a big old pecan tree in the front yard. He just backed into it and boom with that bulldozer. I'm like, dude, you gonna take the whole thing down? So I'm telling you right now, they fixing to put in some houses, because that land goes way on back, and the people that own it, that's the only reason they bought it, is for one day to develop it. This is all family land, but it's like 2 different parcels and 2 different owners. So I don't know if maybe one bought it from the other. They're going to develop the whole thing. I don't know, but yeah, you think it's lousy. I was trying to say loud and noisy. You think it's loud and noisy now. Wait down the road. So I wanted to tell you about Uncle Eddie's house getting bulldozed. And then I wanted to tell you today, I go back to the pain doctor. Now, he did my second set of injections in my SI joint about 3 weeks ago. And I don't remember if I told y'all or not. The first time I got the IV sedation because I wasn't sure what to expect. Now, I have had injections over the years in my back, in my knees, in my wrist. Never. If your wrists are about to fall off your arms, let them fall off, because it will be less painful than an injection. Trust me. I regret the day I ever agreed to it. Anyway, but I've never had one down in the joint, way down in there like that. I said, yeah, maybe I'll take the sedation just to calm my nerves. Because y'all know the last back injection I had, before I knew that I had this severe case of what I have, all the stuff that it's called, he hit that nerve. And I come off the table. I literally come off the table and screamed. So in my mind, that's what was going to happen. He assured me it was not, because it was a joint, it was not a nerve. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Second time, 3 weeks ago, she said, you want the sedation? I'm like, no, there was nothing to that. There was seriously nothing to it. Nothing. They shoot you up with lidocaine. The first shot, he fills your body with lidocaine. I don't think it would matter what he did to you. You can feel a little pressure, but there's nothing to it. And then it's over. Boom, boom. So I'm like, no, there was nothing to that. I'm going to go on in there and just handle my business. He did the first one. It went fine. He got to the right side. I let out a moan. As soon as he hit it, to put in the lidocaine, I could tell it wasn't right, because I could feel the lidocaine, and normally you cannot. I could feel him putting it in, even though he was putting it in. And so when he put the big needle in there, I hit it, and I was like, face down. I was like, something ain't right. And he went a little bit more. Next thing I know, I'm moaning. Well, bless his heart, he started moaning too. It was terrible. I don't know who all heard me, but it was so painful. He was still pushing it in, going, oh, we're almost there. Come on, we're almost. So he was moaning with me. Bless his heart, it was really sweet. So I asked the nurse, I'm like, why did that one hurt when the other ones didn't? She said it was probably just extra inflamed, and that'll happen when it's inflamed. And I told David, I said, well, that's like when you have a infection in your tooth. Don't even try to go get it numbed. If you got an infection in your tooth, take it from me. I have got major teeth problems. I'm terrified of the dentist. If you have an infection or an abscess, don't try to get no tooth pulled. You make them clear that up first, because it will not numb. Just trust me. I sat in a dentist chair. I'm not exaggerating, and I am not lying. 10 shots of Novocaine in one tooth that he was trying to pull, and it would not numb. Every time he would try to do something, I was in that, I'm telling you, you can take this to the bank. I was in that dentist chair all day long. Finally, there's a bee. Where is it? This is not bee season. Anyway, I was in that dentist chair all day long. Finally, he sent me to the dude that does root canals or whatever all he does. That man was livid. He was like, why did he not send you to me? Why did he not put you out of that chair and send you to me? I'm like, I don't know. He was livid. He could not believe he did that to me. So you better believe me and my family have never been back to that dentist. Never. Anyway, where was I? Ooh, I'm going the long way around the road, ain't I? We're taking the country road to get there. We're not going as a crow flies. You know, that's what truckers, that's how they get paid. Let's just say they be going to the mountains, and he has to go 100 miles because it's around the mountain like this. But from point A to point B, straight line is 90 miles. He's only going to get paid 90 miles. That's as the crow flies. Just thought I'd let you know in case you didn't know that. So we're not going as the crow flies today. This video might be 400 hours long. No dentist, no wrist injections. Where were we? So I go to him today for follow-up because my insurance, instead of setting up, he likes to do 3 sets. He said it takes 3 sets. Well, my insurance makes me see him after the shots to make sure I need them, I guess, before they'll pay for the shots. So 3 weeks, I guess, has been. I'm going to tell him I'm scared to get the 3rd ones. I am scared. Listen, I can take it. I can take pain. I don't like pain. I don't sign up for it. But I'm pretty good at pushing through and just dealing with it. But I'm not volunteering for it. And that's what I feel like. If I set up another appointment, I feel like I'm volunteering for it. So anyway, that's that. I'm going to the pain doctor today. Let me tell you what else. Oh, so yesterday. Okay, let me back up. So there is this dude I graduated high school with. We were friends in high school. Okay. Fast forward to Holly in school. His twins were in her grade. Fast forward, where does he live? Right in the neighborhood across behind me. He has never acknowledged that he knows me. Never. I don't know if his wife is funny like that. I don't know. He's looked at me, but he's never spoken to me. Nothing. Like he don't even know me. Yes, I've changed, but not when you know my first name. You can look at me and tell that's who I am. So anyway, him and his wife, they come across the road and walk through our neighborhood. Well, when David cut down the backyard, he graded it down to make it level. See, the driveway in the back used to come down a hill towards the house. And, you know, he had all that water damage, and he didn't want that to happen again. So he graded down the house. And y'all can probably see it in my videos whenever I film from the car. There's a big old concrete retaining wall. And then that's built into the garage, the building, whatever you want to call it. And by the way, that broken down fence up there, that's not ours. No. Anyway, so the retaining wall runs along parallel with the side road over here. Well, food line's on down that way. Well, I had run down there to get something. No. Where did I go? I went somewhere. I don't even remember. And I was coming up the road, and so they were walking this way. And I knew I would get to my driveway first. They started moving over, you know, to the side. I knew I'd get to my driveway before I'd be in their way. Well, next thing I know, and he's a tall thing with big old long legs. I seen them legs taking a leap towards my yard. I'm like, what is that? What is dude coming up in my yard? Like a kid, he starts walking on the wall. I guess it's just too much of a temptation. So he's walking on the wall. I don't care, okay? When he noticed it was me pulling in the driveway right here in the front, like I'm blind, like I couldn't see from there to there, he jumped off that wall so fast it would make your head spin. Jumped over on the road, hurry up, got up with his wife, going like he never did anything. It was the funniest thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. Seriously? Makes me wonder if he'll get up there again, if he's afraid of getting busted. So that was that. Now the other food line story was, I told you on my meal prep, but I'm telling you again in case you don't watch my meal prep, because that ain't for everybody. I had forgotten the meat for my lunch when I ordered my groceries. So I had to run down there to get that before I could start prepping. Well, I just went in for like 3 things, really, in and out, because I had to get started. But I always, look at the rest of the meat, see if there's anything that they have marked down. Well, there was some pork tenderloins. I got 4 of them, so 3 of them are just barely over $3, and there's a good size for me and David. And one was under $5. It was a big one. Well, I went through the self-checkout, I bagged it up, and when I had bagged one of the pork loins with my meat, I pushed it out to the car, put the bags in the car. I come home, I go to get my meat out. I'm like, where's my meat? I go back out to the car. It's not in the car. So I'm already tired. I even said it coming up in my meal prep. I even told you I was tired before I started. And so I was just whining. I'm like, I said, I left my meat in the buggy. He said, you want me to go get you some? I said, yes, please. Very sweet. He was out there putting brakes on his truck. He did not have to leave. He knows I have trouble getting around. He knows. So he does anything he can to help me. So I told him, I said, well, check with the girl who washes the buggies, because they got a woman, man, whoever. As long as the doors are open at that store, there's somebody. You can only go in this side and out that side at our particular store. They clean every buggy and then they push them over to the side so you know which ones are clean. I said, ask the girl cleaning the buggies if anybody happened to turn it in. I said, but I figure somebody's got them a pack of meat. He come walking home. In the door, sure enough, somebody had turned my bag in, so he didn't even have to buy more. And that was like $9 worth of meat right there. So, like he said, they were still good people in the world. I said, y'all's good people too. So that was my other food line story. Let me see what else I was going to tell you. Oh, the one other thing, y'all know I have hermit crabs. Do y'all know I have hermit crabs? It started in August of 2011. Holly brought home one from the beach. If you ever been to the beach, you know how they have them all up in them little things, them little cases. They have, like, I went to a flea market down there. They had like hundreds inside of a wire, like chicken wire looking cage. I already had my hermit crabs, so I knew how they're supposed to be tended to. Made me so mad and hurt my feelings at the same time. It really did. It hurt my feelings. That's not how they were meant to be lived. And people buy them as throwaway pets. They're not. They're a living creature. And if you're going to buy something that's a living creature, you better treat it like one. It deserves to be raised the way it needs to be raised. I don't care if it is just a hermit crab. So her and her best friend, that's who she went with. They come home with hermit crabs. And I thought, well, if we're going to have one, we're going to learn how to take care of it. So I got on the computer and I researched everything I needed to know about hermit crabs. And that, like I said, was August in 2011. Here it is, September of 2020, and I still have hermit crabs. One, I am almost positive, because I've kept up, the biggest ones are easy to keep up with. The little ones, not so much. The one I'm almost positive is the second one we bought, because we bought him a friend. They're social. The one she bought, she named Sheldon, so we bought him a Leonard. Well, over the years, at one time I had 10 hermit crabs, because Flair's vet, an exotic vet, well, the vet's not exotic. They treat exotic animals. Anyway, they knew that I kept hermit crabs, and so they rehomed them to me. Over the years, when somebody'd come turn them in, they would rehome them to me. They've all died except for the last two biggest ones, and I think they're going to be around here for 100 years. Well, what they do is they'll go under the sand. You keep the sand, since these are so big. I had a small short tank when they were all just small little crabs, because they had sand was deep enough for them to bury in. They like to go down in there. They like to dig around. That's what they do. And then they like to go under there and molt. So you got to give them that with some nice sandcastle consistency sand, because that's what they like. That's what they know. Okay. Well, over the years, they've all died out except these last two biggest ones. Well, now I have a tall 40-gallon tank, and it's halfway full of sand, because they're so big. They have to have room to get down in there and do their thing. Well, the smallest one, the biggest one's Mr. Big. When I got him, his name was Mr. Big. He's humongous. If I put him on my hand, I don't put him on my hand no more, because he got so big that I'm scared of him. His pincers, he would take my finger off. If you put him out there, right there, big old shell, put him right there. If he comes out of his shell and he starts spreading out, he would take up that much of my hand. I'm not joking. So I don't play with him. I used to pick him up and, do all the things. No. I have had, and I've still got the one that I'm almost positive is Leonard. He will not eat out of my hands, but Mr. Big will. He will steal. And Cheerios, oh, they love the Cheerios. That always makes David laugh, how they love the Cheerios. But I can put something down there. He'll come up, and they get those little feelers out, and they come out, and then they start sniffing and sniffing. And then here comes them claws. How they eat is they'll pinch it with one claw, put it in another claw, and then put it in their mouth. They are fascinating little creatures. They're fascinating. Anyway, Leonard has been down in the dirt, in the sand, for a good 6 months, and that's not unusual. Sometimes you don't know if they went under there to die, or if they're just actually on there molting, or if they're just roaming around, doing their thing. Sometimes they'll get up to the glass down there, and there'll be a hole, where they've dug. You can see. So 2 days ago, I was walking by, and I looked, and I noticed he had come up. I'm like, oh, he come up, and I got to looking. He didn't have his shell on. Okay, if you've never seen, I wish I could have got a picture of it. If you've never seen a hermit crab what's on the inside of the shell, to me it looks like an oyster. It just looks like an oyster without the little floppy things on it. Well, his was, you could tell it was firm. It's not squishy. It's not slimy. It's just the shape of it, I guess you'd say. And there's little bitty pincers all on the inside, and that's what holds them onto the shell. You see what I'm saying? They cannot be out of their shell. They are very vulnerable. They're social, and they're so social that another one will eat them if they want to. They will just kill them. They'll do it. I had one. I'll tell you about him in a minute. And he's a huge. I'm like, dude, no. So I've only got 2 shells, other than the 2 they're in. I have some really big ones. They won't go in them. They're gonna die in these shells because they can't. Mr. Big will, because he won't go in another one. None of the big ones. He stays in that one. He's been in it for probably 3 years. Yep. And so his shell, Leonard's shell, was not up top because there's only 2 extras. So I knew he left it He left it under the thing and come on up without his shell. So I'm thinking, did he molt and either decided he didn't want that shell again? What was this little man thinking? So I got one of the shells and I go push it up under his face. I'm like, little man, you got to go up in the shell. So, I dipped it in the water, got it good and wet so he could slide on in there. He ignored me like the plague. I kept pushing up there. I have had it before. I'll tell you in a minute. So I thought, okay, I'm going to walk away. I'm just going to leave him alone. I kept going over and peeking. I thought maybe he was having stage fright. He wasn't in it. He wasn't in it. Finally, I went over there, and he had went up in that shell. But he was laying on his back. He wasn't like up and around where he could walk around and do his thing. He was just laying on his back. So for 2 days, I have gone in there and poked him to make sure he was alive. Because they'll retract up into that shell, and they'll clamp down those claws, and you can see them. But if you touch them, then they'll move, if they're alive. Well, today, last night, I walked by, and he's in the other shell. But guess what? The shell he come out of is not beside that shell. It's over where he left it. If he had taken that shell with him, then that shell would have been in the pit. I call it a little shell pit, where the shell he went into was. He come out naked of that shell and crawled over there and got the other one. I'm like, what is wrong with you? This morning, he's up, he's walking around. I told David I thought he was fixing to die. I thought he was just in there to die. But he's up walking around now. That don't mean nothing, because I don't know if he injured himself being out of it or not. But I had one time when I had, I had a passel of them. And that's when I had my smaller one. There was little crabs. Oh my God, they're so cute. I had one who, that's another thing. They will fight each other for the shell. I had it happen. If, let's just say, Leonard wants Howard's shell, Leonard will go over there and fight him for that shell, and he will drag his hind end out of it and take it. I had that happen. They had a fight over the shell. Little dude, I had built this, because y'all know I make something out of everything. I had a block of wood with 4 dowels I stuck in it, wrapped it in jute twine so they could have something to grab onto, because they like to climb. So they would climb all over. And I had, plastic plants, all kind of stuff. That little dude was hanging on to that pole. I'm like, no, we're not going out like this. So I grabbed one of my empty shells, because you keep plenty different sizes in there when you have that many, so they can grow and change. Because they, like we like to rearrange, they like to rearrange. I got a shell, put it up in front of him. He jumped in that shell. He jumped in that shell as fast as this boy jumped off my wall. Sure enough. So anyway, that was my crab story. And I think that is all I had to tell you. I think that's all I had to tell y'all today. But you see, the past few days, I have had so much that I needed to unload. My brother calls it downloading. When you got so much to tell somebody, you got to download on. So I downloaded on y'all. All right. I think that's all I know. My meal prep video is going up. I got it set to go up sometime today. This will probably go up before that. And probably I don't know what I'm cooking today. If I got anything new. No. Today's hobo dinner day. So I won't show you that. And I guess the next time I'll be back will be weigh-in on Thursday. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I've been staying on plan. I have been tracking. I have been counting my points. I've already used my weekly points. I used them all up. My phone's full again. Let me tell you bye in case I cut off right now. But I used all my weeklies Saturday. So I'm done. And Joan says when you're out of points, you stop eating. And that's what I did last night. I had 1 point left. I didn't even eat it. I'm just like, nope. I'm done. So, fingers crossed, come Thursday, we'll have another loss. I don't want to jinx it. So, I'll talk to you later. Bye.